Excuse me, can I please talk to you for a minute? Hey girlfriends, welcome back to the Hey Girlfriend podcast. I'm your host, mindset and intuitive coach, Kendall D. And I just want to start off by apologizing for my last podcast episodes for the sound quality. I forgot to plug up my mic, and I forgot to plug up my mic for the episode of Toxic, the second episode of Toxic I did, which is only on my YouTube channel. So check that out. And I'm like, but I mean, you can still hear it. I just hate that the sound quality is not up to par of what I typically do. So it's plugged up now. I think I was in a hurry trying to get my stuff done because it's late and I record late. So forgive me. But let's jump right in. For without further ado, to what today's topic is about, which is a topic that I find was hard to learn for me, but when I did, it made all the difference in how I felt about myself. So it's about being the one who got away and being happy with being the one who got away. And it's like rising above the shit. It's especially in those times when a guy picks someone over you, or if you're in like a toxic situation and he's, has a new girl on the side that you just found out about or something like that. And, you're like crying and upset and don't understand what happened. And you're like wanting it to work and you want him to pick you. And you don't think about being the one who got away. You're only thinking about the one that you want him to pick. Because it's like, it's an ego thing. It really is. Our ego is bruised and hurt because someone chose someone else over us, making us feel like that we ain't to shit like we think we are, like they treat us like we are. But the thing is that I've come to realize is that there is a lot of power in being the one who got away. There's a lot of power in being the one that rises above it all and says, I'm better than this shit. There's a lot of power in just understanding and knowing that that situation is dead to you because that situation didn't honor all that you were worth, honor all your value. And so you want to be the one that got away. You don't want to be the one that stuck around challenging them and them seeing your worth. You don't want to be the one that stuck around begging for them to choose you, whether you verbally begged or whether you stuck around for shit that you didn't want to tolerate that was beneath you, chasing them, whether you're physically chasing them or you're just still sitting around waiting for them to possibly pick you. Anything like that, that's still all considered chasing. You want to be the one that's like, I'm too good for this. You're not good enough for me, and dip. Not be the one sitting there trying to show them that I am good enough for this. You need to pick me. Because essentially what it is that half the time, it's not that they're not choosing you because you're not good enough. They're choosing you because they may have just chose someone else and there's someone else that they just like more. Doesn't mean that there's no worth there with you. They're just picking whoever they want for whatever reason, and it just happens to not be you. It doesn't mean that they may not find you worthy or whatnot. It just means that you're not what they're looking for in their moment in their life, and that's okay. So you have to stop looking at it as like, there's something wrong with me, so I have to try to get them to like me, or I have to tell them how angry they made me feel. I have to still be, in the situation instead of just walking away with my head held high saying that I'm too good for this. And so the honor in that comes from doing that is being the one that got away, is being the one that didn't settle, being the one that didn't stay, being the one that, knows she deserves better, if you will. That's what it really is about. And because another thing that you have to realize is that I really don't want anyone that doesn't want me. I don't want anyone that doesn't think I'm all that. I don't want anyone that doesn't think that I am a prize. I don't want anyone that doesn't value me or see me as valuable or worthy. I don't want anyone that doesn't really understand or know how to treat me. I don't want anyone that I have to, beg to treat me right. I don't want anyone like that. And sometimes when our ego is so bruised, or maybe we got some childhood wounds, some trauma, some unhealed things there that makes us feel like, it's a us thing. It's something about our worth. I knew it. I'm not worthy. That's why they're not picking me. Instead of letting your mind go to that part, let it go to the part of, can they even really be who I need them to be? Can they even really be the man for me? Are they even equipped to give me what I really want? Because sometimes you're not even looking at it and realizing that they're really not all of that. They're really not a prize. They're really not someone that needs to be on the pedestal. Just because they liked you or gave you a little attention doesn't mean that they deserve to be on this pedestal. Okay, girlfriend? It doesn't mean that. You have to really take a step back and not just see how they are on paper. Sometimes they can look really good on paper, like they can really be good with their family. They can have a child or daughter be really good with how they treat their daughter, treat their mom well. They can have a great job, a great car. They can have all these great things on paper. But how are they when it gets to the core of who they are, their character? When it comes to treating you, how are they when it comes to being emotionally available? How are they when it comes to the deep level shit, not the shit that's just on paper at the top, not just your preferences, but your non-negotiables, meaning that you want someone that is romantic, that's going to be there for you without a shadow of a doubt, someone that actually honors you, values you, wants you. How are they when it comes to pursuing you? How are they when it comes to that? That's what's most important. That's what's going to make you feel good in the relationship, and that's what's going to make it long-term and lasting, not the shit that's on paper. And so once you really take a step back and assess that, you will be happy that you're the one that got away instead of sticking around in a low-quality experience that's not really for you, And so what I want you to get in the habit of doing that really helped me, I had to fake it till I made it. I will be honest, I did, because I didn't quite. Okay, no. I would say my ego would still be bruised when someone didn't want me, but I had to remember that it doesn't mean that. It doesn't mean something's wrong with me. It doesn't mean that I'm not going to find someone. It doesn't mean that I'm doomed for the rest of my life. None of that shit. It doesn't mean that I'm unworthy. None of that. It doesn't mean none of that. It just means that they just weren't ready, and there is a blessing in rejection. I looked at it that way because the man I didn't end up with and the men that rejected me, I'm really glad they did, because they're really not for me. And who I'm with now is for me in every way. And I'm glad that I had to go through that and go through them saying no or rejecting me or a relationship's not lasting to get to this point. And so that's how you have to kind of look at it. You have to look at it as a bigger picture and realize that, okay, you tried it with someone, you tried love with someone, you tried a connection, even if it wasn't love, you just tried with someone, seeing it wasn't really it, they saw it wasn't really it, or it wasn't really what you wanted, and it's on to the next, because you can't let them hold you up from getting what you really want. You can't stick around and try to pull it out of them because you don't want to move on and try something else. You can't do that, because doing that is just prolonging you on your journey to finding the one for you. And I started looking at it like that. I started looking at the light kind of like at the end of the tunnel. Like, okay, this didn't work out. I'd be a little sad for a little bit, but then I realized, okay, it didn't work out because it just wasn't meant. And when it all boils down to it, I really don't want anyone or anything that is not meant for me, because trying to force what's not meant for you is not going to be a good experience. It's not going to be a happy ending. It's not going to go well for you. And so once you just relax into that and know that what's for you won't miss you and will be there and will stick with you and it will work, you won't try to force things, and you'll be happy with being the one that got away, because it's like, I didn't settle. I didn't stay for that bullshit. It's like deuces. And so being the one that got away, how it gives you your power is that it allows you to move on to something that may be for you. And like I said, it's understanding that you don't want what's not for you. You don't want anyone, anything that's not for you. And so in that sense, and in that belief, and in that knowing that, and actually like, I mean, like really, really knowing that deep within that you don't want anything that's not for you, you have to understand that anything that you try to force is not going to go well. And not only that, it's just you're not going to get what you want. That's what I'm trying to say. It's like you have to be okay with letting them miss out on you, and you got to be okay with missing out, and then understanding that you're not really missing out. Like, you're not, because it wasn't for you. So what are you missing out on, really? Missing out on who you hope they could be? Missing out on who you really wanted them to be? Because she just really wanted to work with that. Because, of course, who wants to move on and try it all over again? Who wants to start from scratch and be like, okay, I'm alone again, it didn't work? I get it. Who wants to do that? But it's either that or sticking around and trying to force some shit that's not for you, and coming out in the end worse off than when you would have left in the beginning, when you just let it go and you was the one that got away. And so I want you to take on that mindset more, and just tell yourself, I want to be the one that got away, not the one that stayed and settled. When you tell yourself that I want to be the one that got away, like, it gives you a sense of worthiness, really. It gives you a sense of power. It gives you a sense of just feeling valuable, and even just feeling yourself, because it's like, I'm the one that got away. Even if the guy doesn't feel that way, or whoever you dated doesn't feel that way, even if they feel like, oh, I wasn't studying her after we broke up, you'll never know that unless you ask, or if they say, or whatever. In this case, I'm saying be just a little delusional, and say, I'm just going to be the one that got away. Because, and it's not even really delusional, it's really you saying to yourself, like, I got away from that shit, that's not for me. Instead of looking at it as like, oh, they got away from me, and oh, they didn't pick me, or oh, they didn't choose me. It's like, I'm glad I got away from something that wasn't for me. Twist it around that way. Be happy that you're the one that got away. And just be happy that he didn't choose you. Because something I want to add is that when you're not chosen, there's really so much blessing in that. Because with him not choosing you, that means you're not being invited into something that's not really for you. Like, say if the person you really wanted to choose you did choose you, and if they did choose you, look at how it wouldn't have worked, and it wouldn't have been just being forced because you really wanted to just be chosen, but you were chosen by someone that wasn't really for you because you didn't want to be rejected or be without. You didn't want to have to move on again. And so you're in it now. And now it's just full of shit. It's just a bunch of shit, and it's not a happy situation. You feel like you can't be yourself with this person. It's not really working out. It's just a whole bunch of stuff. It's just not for you. So that's what I'm saying. You have to be happy that you weren't chosen, and not look at it as like, oh, I'm not worthy. And if that's something you find yourself constantly doing, is feeling like, I must not be worthy, I must not be good enough for them to not choose me. If you find yourself constantly doing that, that's a bigger issue that you need to work on, which could be dealing with your self-esteem and how you feel about yourself. Because it's not them making you feel that way. It's you already feeling that way about yourself. And then whenever a situation like that happens, you take it personally because you already felt that way before, if you get what I'm saying. If you felt that way about yourself before, anyone that rejects you or doesn't choose you, it's going to just, pour salt in that wound, so to speak. And so what I learned to understand is that, I just really want what's meant for me. And that's something that I just had to keep reiterating to myself. I want what's meant for me. And that's it. If they don't like me, I can like them back. I can like them a lot. Like it's gonna be people you like, want to be with. You think you think the world of them. Think they're just so cool. You know, you haven't really got to know them, but you're looking at them on the outside and getting to know them a little bit. And you're like, I really like them, and then they just don't like you back. I know that's hard to come down from that. And like, damn, somebody I really, really admire and like don't like me back. But you have to look at it. It's like, I don't want anyone or anything that's not meant for me, no matter how much I like them. You know, no matter how much I adore them, no matter how much I really would like to be with them. If they just don't want to be with me, then they just don't. Let it be their loss. Let you just move on. And like I said, they may not consider you a loss or whatever, but you can consider yourself a loss because, yeah, just move on. Be the one that got away. Okay? So I want you to make that maybe an affirmation. Tell yourself, I'm going to be the one that got away. I'm not going to be the one that settled and stayed because I really wanted someone to like me. Be happy with being the one that got away. Be happy that you weren't chose because you dodged something that wasn't for you, you know? So I want you to start looking at it that way while you work on your self-esteem. Because if you feel like you have to work on that, work on that. But I want you to tell yourself that as you're dating and you're not maybe being chosen, or the guy didn't like you or it didn't work out, tell yourself it's okay because I don't want anything that's not for me anyway. I'm just going to be the one that got away. I'm not going to stay and try to force anything. It's like I'm going to float above it all because I'm better than that. I just be the one that got away and there's something else for me. You got to believe there's something else for you. You got to believe there's going to be another chance at love. You got to believe that there's going to be another chance in meeting someone. You have to believe that and know that it's going to be multiple other chances. This is not your last chance. You can be the one that got away and live your life happily and come across other experiences and other opportunities. Okay? Believe that and know that. So that's all I got. That's all I wanted to say. Just something that was on my heart and on my mind about being the one that got away, because I'm like, I want my girlfriends to please just use this and say this to yourself. Don't stick around and shit that ain't for you. Let that shit go. Let the shit go away. You're better than that. If it's between you and some other girl and he's like, you know, talking with someone else, or he may pick someone else, let him, let it go, let him, because they made the decision. And the thing is, if you feel like with them making a decision, it hurt you and you want to cry about it, that's fine, baby. Go ahead and go home and cry about it. Heal it on your own time. Don't look to them to heal you by going to them because they hurt you and trying to figure out why they didn't choose you, why it's not you. Do it on your own time. It's okay to feel that pain from that, but something that helped me is to just let that go. Say, okay, you don't want me, fine, but get up, be the one that got away, and then you can go home and kind of cry on your own. It's okay, and heal on your own. But don't let them see that. Don't let them have that power on you. Don't cry to them like they're the ones that can help you dealing with this pain. If they caused it, just move it along and heal on your own, and you'll be okay. Okay, that's something else I want to throw in and add. I almost forgot about that. That's all I got for this podcast episode, for real this time. Check me out on my Patreon. I do coaching, one-on-one mindset, intuitive coaching. I've coached hundreds of people. I've been coaching for over a year now. I think this year coming up, does it make 2 years I've been coaching? So yeah, I've coached a lot of people, and I honestly love every woman that I coached. Like, seriously, I was telling my husband this earlier. I was like, man, I coach some dope women. Like, I know that they've been through some shit, made bad decisions in love, maybe have, self-esteem they're working on, whatever it is. But I'm like, if they can just see what I see and understand that they really are good women. They got, a lot of them are funny, hilarious, got personality. Like, they're really cool. All of them. There's not a single one that I've coached or I'm currently coaching that I don't like. Like, I'm saying. So my job is to just really help pull that out of you so that you can see it too. And I ask and pose questions to you like your personal journal. Basically, I pose questions to you to help you discover more about you and to like discover you and get to you. Because healing is not changing you; it's getting to the you beneath all of the trauma that is on top of you, getting rid of everything that caused you to not really thrive and be your full self. Because I see y'all, all y'all are cool as shit, dope as shit, for real. I just had to say that because it was on my heart, and I was talking about that earlier. But yeah, check my Patreon out for coaching if you want. I recommend joining at the beginning of the month because it charges you the first of the month every month, no matter when you join. So if you join on the 30th or 31st and you pay for coaching, you're going to be paying again on the first of the next month. So I don't want that. I put it in the description also. I let people know that you're charged the first of every month, regardless of when you join. So I do let them know, make it known. I don't want to feel like, I don't want to feel like that I'm trying to rip them off or anything like that. So I recommend joining at the beginning of the month, like the first week or two of the month. And yeah. And also my podcasts are on there. I still post podcasts on there. My bonus content and podcasts are gonna be on my Patreon. I usually post a bonus podcast that goes with each episode or something, or sometimes it's not with the episode. It's just something I've really thought and had to get it off my chest. And I really want to say it's for real. Okay, that's all I got for this podcast episode, girlfriends. Until the next one, peace out.